Back here in East Texas, today kicked off the 7th annual San Augustine Heritage Days Festival in the historic downtown area. KLTV7's Avery Gorman has more.
The San Augustine Main Street Board created the Heritage Days Festival to celebrate and teach people about the town's history. Liz Jones, the Main Street manager, says this event has a lot to offer.
This event is just a really great way to draw people downtown and to show them the history that San Augustine has. San Augustine is so rich in history.
Today's festivities started with vendors with clothing, jewelry, and other items, and downtown businesses setting up and opening their doors to shoppers. Tomorrow kicks off with the Wild Run Walk or Run event, pancake breakfast, old tractor parade, a tractor and car show, reenactments, art exhibits from local artists, live music, and much more.
We also have tours that go through historic downtown San Augustine. They go to a lot of the historic homes in San Augustine. We have tours at the 1919 Jail Museum too. So it's just a great way to explore the history of San Augustine.
Marshall McMillan, chairman of the Main Street Board, says it's important to know, learn, and remember the history of the area.
We were first, as far as laid out in the American plan, in 1832, the first city that was laid out by the American plan. And we have the original document that and Sam Houston signed that document.
Trina Saka came out to experience day one today. She says there's a lot to do.
Lots of food vendors, lots of small business owners doing jewelry, woodworking. There's a little bit of something for everybody.
Avery Gorman, KLTV 7 News.
Those events kick off tomorrow morning at 7:15 and they are free. That's going to do it here for us at 6 o'clock. We'll see you at 10. Good night.